थोड़ा ऐसे बैठो।
Guys, I have India's 42nd Grandmaster GM Shardul Gagre with me. We just had an interview with him where he spoke about how he felt on becoming a Grandmaster. But now I think, Shardul, it's time to see your game, the game which gave you the GM title. So, what do you say? Shall we look at your game?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So you had the black pieces, and as your father told to me before the game, it would have been very nice if you had white pieces in the first game, so that you would have two whites, so like third game also white, and that would have made it easier for you to be a GM.
Yes, it's right. White has a lot of benefits, but I think also black pieces are good. And as we know that our world champion Vishy Anand has won against Topala in the last round with black pieces, so it's good.
Yeah. So basically, it didn't make much of a difference that you were black
Yes.
in this game. Okay. So you were facing B Shaker, whose rating I think is given wrong here. What's his rating?
2188.
2188. So here it's given 1188, but just increase 1,000 points. Okay. So he started off with E4, and you played E6.
Yes, like I have played against him twice before with the black and Karokan, and I have won both the games. So I was thinking that whether to play Karokan or French. I could not decide, but then I thought maybe I should start with French, as I had very good experience in Qatar with French opening.
Okay.
So,
But Shardul, you were playing Karokan all your life, almost right from the time I know you, let's say 7-8 years, you were playing Karokan. Why all of a sudden French?
yes, it's okay. I think maybe Karokan has some drawbacks, like against lower rated opponents, it's not that easy to play Karokan, and so I thought maybe there is need to change the river, which is more of my style, and so I started playing French from black side.
And that suits you very well.
Yes, it suits very well. Right now, I have played 4 games and my score is 3.5.
And I must mention that in those 4 games, there were a lot of grandmasters as well.
Yes, I defeated 126.50 due against Adiban, who is one of the strongest players in India, and won other 2 games against lower rated.
Wow. So you are really becoming on your way to becoming a French expert, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so after E6, D4, D5, knight B2, and C5. So you were in a must-win situation. So you did not think of playing knight F6 over here, which leads to a much more complex game, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, F6 leads to a different type of pawn structure in French after E5 knight F7. And okay, I had prepared C5. So
okay, so you had prepared C5 for the game.
Yes.
And knight F3. So this is all opening theory.
Yes, it's opening theory, and he has played 1 game, so I knew I was prepared in this line.
Yeah. So please tell us till what point it was your preparation.
Yeah, I think C3 was new move for me. More natural was Bishop D3, and then followed by Queen E2, Castle Queen E2. This was the plan.
Okay, so Bishop D3 followed by castling, and Queen E2 is much more natural. So C3 is not really required, yeah?
Yeah, I think it's not required because I'm not threatening Bishop E4.
Okay, so C3, knight D7.
Yes, I remember I thought for some time here as Bishop D6 he had option of knight F5, and which would damage my pawn structure.
Or you might have to
give the double bishop advantage.
yeah, because castle might not even worth. Yeah.
Yeah, c4 and then queen b4, bishop b2. I will lose a piece.
Yeah, and you lose a piece. Okay. So not so great. But so you played knight b7. Shardul, tell us that this is a pawn structure here where you have 4 pawns over here and 2 on the queen side against white's 3 pawns on each wing. So do you think that this pawn structure favors black in this position?
It depends on the position, but I think I feel more comfortable from black side, as it is quite easy and he has clear plan of minority attack on the queen side.
Okay, so you mean to say you start pushing these pawns after a certain point?
Yes.
Okay, great. So okay, bishop d3, bishop d6, castles, castles.
Yes. Okay. After castles, I was thinking quite some time, because after castle there are options like bishop h7.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
should consider.
The first thing that came to my mind was, does bishop h7 work here?
Yeah, I think bishop h7 doesn't work here because there are very less pieces, and when knight comes to f6, there is no attack.
So you go back.
Yeah, king g8, queen h5, and knight f6.
And after this, you just repel the attack. There is nothing.
Yes.
Okay. So you played castles and he went queen e2.
I think he thought for a lot of time playing queen e2, which is, I think, most natural move. And so I knew that he would think for more natural moves like a lot of time. So I had the benefit on time.
So you were almost an hour ahead on time. Yes.
Yes.
And that turned out to be one of the crucial factors.
Yes, it helped me in when there were critical moments. He had no time and I had a lot of time to think, so it helped me.
Okay. So rook e8, just cementing your e6 point.
Yes, because he was threatening 96.
Yeah. So a move like b5 might be met with knight takes e6. Okay. So rook e8. Ooh.
Yeah, before playing rook e8, I was thinking about this sacrifice, and I had seen what were the consequences. It was in my favor, as he has less pieces in attack, and I can quickly bring my knights in defense. So
now that I see this position, I can understand his logic, because after you take knight g5 and queen h5, the f7 point has just been weakened because of
last move rook e8.
Yes. So, but still, you had considered this before playing rook e8.
Yes.
Great. So, but let's just see how it went. You took, and he went knight g5.
King g8.
You went king g8. Queen h5.
Yes, and this was the critical position, which I had thought before rook e8. Here, if I play queen f6.
Yeah, defending f7.
F7 point. Queen h7 check. King f8, knight e4, and now after queen e5 to defend the bishop, he can play f4, and I'm losing the bishop back. Also, queen is trapped.
So. And you can see that this knight is defended by the queen on h7, and you're lost here.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little trap, and also f7 cannot be defended by any piece on e7 like rook or queen because of
mate.
The queen h7, queen h8 mate.
Yes.
So the only move by elimination, I think, is knight e5.
Yes. Okay. And now it's quite white has to make some responsible decision, as I'm threatening knight f6 and then there is just no piece.
Yeah, this is a big threat. So he's sitting on a time bomb here. He has to do something. So I guess next move, queen h7 check, looks forced for him.
Yes.
And
and here I thought about f4,
yes,
which is interesting. F4, knight g6, and f5. And here knight f6, there are some tricks like fg6, knight h7, gh7, king e7, and then rook f7.
Wow.
So I had to be very, very careful while
tell you the truth. If I were in your place, I would have been really scared at this point seeing such variations, because even though he is a piece down, it looks like these pieces are not yet into the game.
Yes.
So looks pretty dangerous.
Yes, it's pretty dangerous, but I think with concrete calculation, you can just rule out possibilities, and it's much more easier.
So after f4, knight
Knight
g6,
f5. I was planning to play ef5, which
Okay.
is force. Knight f5, bishop f5, and here there is an interesting option, knight into f7. After which, I think king f7, rook f5, knight f6, bishop h6.
Wow, so you saw even this move.
Yes.
Nice.
Rook g8. And here I was thinking about rook f1, and maybe there is something.
And now the threat is to take on f6 because the g7 pawn is pinned. But guys, he's already two pieces down
Yes.
here. So
And I think there are no pieces for attack. After bishop e5, I think it's just yes.
yes, bishop e5, or even do you think bishop g7, bishop e7 might work here?
Yeah, even bishop e7.
Yeah.
And he has no pieces to sacrifice anymore.
So that was very cool and calm calculation by you. And that too in a crucial encounter like your GM game. Wonderful. So after queen h8, king e7.
Queen g7.
Now he has 2 pawns.
Yes, he has 2 pawns, and it's black has to do something as white is threatening f4, and f7 pawn is undefended.
Yeah, if this pawn gets to f5 and the rook comes into the game, I think it's going to be curtains for black.
Yes.
So what did you come up with now?
Okay, I thought maybe the most important piece in the attack here is white's queen. So maybe I should just do territory clearance and I play rook g8.
Okay.
Yeah.
After queen
Here
h7.
instead of queen h7, there was possibility of queen h6, which I had to think before.
Here.
Yeah. Queen h6, rook h8, knight h7, threatening bishop g5. Now here queen g8. Now bishop g5. Yeah. Now here it's it was a very tough decision, as if I play king e8, then he has knight f6, queen f6, and there is mate on d8, so I have no threats.
And there's no way to prevent it. Maybe you can go
Bishop
b7.
d7, but then knight f5, and it's very complex.
Yeah, and if you take this knight,
Queen d6.
and this might be really risky.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think instead of king e8, I should play king d7, which is very important, as now d8 square is protected. So after knight f6, I can just take knight f6.
Okay. So if now knight f6, you take on f6,
f6, queen f6, and knight g4. And this is
that's just winning for you. The king is now safe on
D7.
d7. Okay. So this was getting lost in the calculations, but you really did some phenomenal work here, because queen h6 here we were discussing leads to all these complications, but in the game he went queen h7.
Yeah. And his plan was clear. He wanted to go back with the queen and then try for f4, f5. So I played knight f6.
Queen c2.
And here it was a critical moment because I had to decide what to do. He is threatening f4, f5, and my king is still stuck in center.
Yeah. I think these are the positions where a decision by you is crucial, because actually it's your move, there is no threat, and it's very easy to go wrong on such occasions. So your thinking was to eliminate the d4 knight?
Yes, and I think if I exchange pieces, then there is no attack. So my king in center is fine with pieces exchange. So knight 6.
Okay. If someone saw this position, he would say that this is Sicilian, not French. Okay. I think he played ND-F3.
ND-F3.
Okay. But you were saying knight c6.
Knight c6. Yeah, knight c6, bc6, and then I think maybe I can just develop my pieces normally.
Yeah, maybe
there is no attack.
Like
queen c7, bishop b7.
See if his king might get
in attack.
Okay, so knight df3.
Yes, he didn't want to exchange the pieces, so knight df3. And here I was thinking about queen c7. I had to connect my rooks quickly because I'm still lagging in development. And queen c7's threat is to play bishop f4 and exchange the bishops, which is I think a very important piece here for white.
His bishop on c1 is crucial
Yes.
for the attack. So you exchange it.
But I think after queen c7, he might play just g3 h4 and then.
And then it would be a game after bd7 h4 and the game goes on.
Game goes on.
Okay, so this could have been the best way for him to play. No, this was after queen c7, but you went queen f5.
Queen f5. Yes, my idea was clear that I should exchange queens here, and as he's threatening knight e4 also, we should see that. So after exchanging the knights, his attack might come very fast. So I had to bring my queen in defense.
Yes.
I thought it is the best way to bring through 5th rank, which gives pressure on g5 knight also.
Okay, so now if he would have played knight e4, then you continue with your queen?
No, after knight e4, I would have played first maybe queen f5.
Oh, okay.
And then he.
And now you have a threat on f3 as well.
Yes, and also queen on c2 is undefended.
So you are winning this position. Okay, so he went rook d1.
Rook d1, and here I thought for some time, and because after queen f5 you exchange the queens, but then damage your pawn structure. Also after queen f5, ef5, knight f7, bishop into h2, king h2, king f7, and then maybe knight g5, rook d6. There are some threats, so it's not easy to develop pieces.
Yes, and besides, you are in a must-win scenario, and any position that would be even close to draw, were you rejecting them or were you objective and saying, okay, let's play that? No problem.
Yes, I was rejecting them because I knew I had to win in this position.
Okay.
It's a piece of so.
Yeah, so you wanted to find the best way to
So
finish him
after
off.
knight f7, I was just thinking of taking queen f5. Queen f5, e5, knight f7.
ef5, knight f7.
Yes, here I was just thinking of king f7, rook d6, and knight e4, followed by bishop e6. So just developing my pieces. Even though I lose a pawn, he has 3 points for a piece, but I think this endgame should be winning for me.
Yes, mainly because you are wonderfully coordinated.
Yes, and my knight on e4 is very strong.
Right. So Shardul did play his queen to f5 in the game, but his opponent rejected the queen exchange and went queen e2.
Yes, and as after exchange of queens, it's not easy, and also he has time pressure, so it would be more comfortable for me.
Yes.
So he was trying to create some complications.
Yeah, and how did you do now? You just played knight e5.
Yeah, I thought okay, it was very critical here because knight e5 there are 4 sequence of moves which I had to calculate, and I thought I had seen that it's working. So knight d4, queen g4, f3.
This is now becoming very sharp.
Yes, queen h5, and here I'm threatening rook g5, so he has to play knight f5. ef5, rook d6.
And you had it all covered, yes? You had seen this.
I had thought this before knight e5. King d6, bishop f4. Yes, and this was a very interesting position because here right now it looks like black's king is going to get mated on d6 because he's bringing rook. But then I saw that he has very less pieces in attack, just bishop, queen, and rook. So I had to exchange one of them. So I was thinking of knight e4, which I played in the game. I'm not really sacrificing piece, but just eliminating his attackers.
Yes, he cannot take this knight because the queen on e2 is undefended. And after
knight e4, fe4, queen e4. I think there are a lot of ways. Just queen f5 and maybe king e6.
Queen f5, rook d1, and king e6. Yeah.
Yeah. King e6, queen d5, king f6. Just the king will run. There are no pieces for it.
Shardul, this is really something. I mean, right now you are confident, but was this the same state of yours during the game? Were you so confident with your king running from G8 to E6 and now to coming back to F6?
Okay. Yeah, I think I was confident because I think some of my calculations are will not go wrong and it will work. So
Well, guys, this is what makes you a GM, to have confidence on your calculations. The king on F6 is safe here. He sees nothing wrong with it. So why not play it? Yes.
yeah.
Great attitude. So after he didn't take the knight on E4, he went queen to C4.
Yes, this was a new move for me, Queen C4, as I had not seen it in my calculations. But I think his idea is clear to bring his pieces in attack.
So Rook D1
D1
is
is
next move coming up. Okay.
So I thought for here for some time because after Rook G5, maybe Rook D1, or I think just Queen D4 is also possible.
Okay, Queen D4.
And it's not easy.
Yeah, and now maybe you go say
King
King
E7,
E7,
Queen E5,
King F8, and he could take your
F4.
rook.
Yeah, maybe F4. And my pieces are not developed like Bishop C8, Rook 8. So I think he has good attack.
Here he seems to have something.
Something, yeah.
Okay, so to Queen C4, instead of playing
Rook G5.
Rook G5, you went King E7.
E7. Yeah, my idea was clear. I should now take my king towards my pieces, and as it is safe there. And
also Bishop E6 is an idea.
Bishop E6 is an idea. I think there are no checks just after Queen B4 or Queen C7. I can just play King E8. Yeah, and I don't see anything.
Yes. Yeah, that's what happened in the game, and he took your knight.
But I think he lost on time.
He was already, his flag fell.
Yeah.
And how do you assess this position? But
no, I think this is clearly winning because I think just Rook G5, Bishop G5, Queen G5, and he just 2 pieces down. There is no attack.
Yes, and if he takes on E5, still you just develop.
Yeah, maybe Queen E2. I'm threatening him.
And there's nothing that he has here. Okay, so a very nice victory. I think you held your nose. This was really a complicated battle, and not something which you could just play without any calculations. A lot of calculations involved. Can you just give a small tip to everyone who is looking, who is watching this video? Like, how do you be so accurate in your calculations? How do you improve it?
I solve problems daily, tactical problems and some complex problems, and do hard work daily. So I practice and then it's good.
So any books that you recommend?
Yes, I would recommend Jacob Eckhart's books. It's 5 volumes. They are very great and they can improve your calculation.
So the Grandmaster Preparation series by Jacob Eckhardt is one of the reasons why you are so quick at calculation.
Yes.
Okay. Shardul, we covered almost everything here. Your emotions after winning the game, your game itself. So I think we'll now let you go, enjoy this day, and come back refreshed for the 4th round, which will begin tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.